So welcome to the Lubbock ISD CTE podcast. This is our inaugural podcast, and I'm here with CTE coordinator Randall Hust. Randall, tell a little bit about yourself.
So I have actually grown up in the construction industry, and several years ago had the opportunity to get into teaching. Went through an alternative certification program, just learned a lot and really fell in love with the classroom and being able to share the skill, the craft that I had learned, being able to share that with young people, being able to participate in different programs. And as I grew through that, I just really felt ready to go to the next step. And so about 2 years ago, I actually had the opportunity to move into an administrative role. And so I'm a CTE coordinator. I deal mainly with all the trades, so construction, electrical, plumbing, automotive, welding, auto body collision. Also deal with law enforcement. I do some with health as well. So I get to see a lot of different areas. But it's all very similar concepts, right? It's being able to prepare students to take them from, the typical setup of an English classroom and to prepare them to go out into the workforce in a trade, whether it be welding or construction or phlebotomy, whatever that looks like. So that's where I'm at now, and just absolutely love working with teachers, love contributing to this new and exciting realm of career and technical education, where everybody's realizing that we just have this huge skills gap. And so we're in such a great place because we're able to help fill that. So I'm just glad to be here.
Yeah, this is something that we've been looking at doing for, what is it, like 5 years now?
Oh, easy. Yeah,
right.
for sure.
And I'm just an IT teacher, but I do a lot of stuff. Right, I teach IT, but I do a lot of stuff outside, and being on different boards across the state and TIVA, and then I'm on committees with ACTE, and where I think we kind of positioned ourselves to really do this podcast right and showcase what CTE is in Lubbock ISD. So really the goal of this podcast, would you say, is to really just promote CTE across Lubbock ISD and across the area?
Definitely. One of the things, you and I both listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's just not a lot of content out there. If I'm a new CTE teacher, maybe that's my preferred medium. There's just not a lot of stuff out there. And so we kind of saw this as a real opportunity to fill a void, help people not only learn about what career and technical education is, but even be able to move into that realm where we can share ideals and innovative practices that we've been doing that we just kind of take for granted. This is what we do here. And we get calls daily of folks that are like, hey, can you help us in this area or that area? I was at another school district yesterday with their electrical teacher talking about different curriculum options. And that, that's no benefit to us at all, but it benefits the overall, the good of the movement, for lack of a better term.
Right.
And so to me, and Brandon, I know you agree too, this podcast, that's the whole goal too, is we want to highlight career and technical education. We want to help schools better prepare kids, because in the end, the community wins. That's what we're here for.
Right. And as we grow support and knowledge of CTE from across the state, or across the nation or whatever, it helps fund the programs that allows us to continue to do what we do for the betterment of America in the future. Because these are your trades that run America. This is not just another class. These kids are going out for careers. And there's a lot of people that, there's always that stimulus still from the old vocational programs where it's like these kids go to college, these kids go to vocational school. And that's not true anymore.
That's right.
This is a time that we all need to come together, and because we're running out of plumbers, we're running out of electricians, and we need to continue to grow this for education across the state, so that way we continue to get supported, and it's amazing.
Brandon, let's just say that somebody ran across this podcast and they're like, what the heck is CTE? What are we even talking about? I know that you're currently the president of TIVA.
Past president at this
Past
point.
president
Yeah.
of our teacher organization. Talk to us about what is CTE? What does that really mean?
Well, CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and basically it is your old vocational programs, but more modernized, and it's built around the goal to fill the skills gap that has really been, affecting America today. I was talking a second ago about, not having enough plumbers, not having enough electricians or HVAC technicians or even automotive, welders. These are all programs that are needed in order to make society continue to work. We like flushing toilets, right? We like to turn on electricity. And these are high-paying, high-skilled jobs that require intelligence to be able to do. And CTE, in Career and Technical Education from across America in the state of Texas, is here to push that forward and to continue to grow these kids, so that way we do have a good workforce to continue life as we know it, pretty much. So CTE is where it's at. I mean, you're gonna make a killing, and you're gonna in anything in CTE, you're gonna make a lot of money coming out of school, but you're also gonna be able to have a solid career and help society. So that's why, and that's what CTE basically is. We're here to just make sure we can have society.
That's right.
And it's really it.
And you hit on something that for guys my age, and Brandon, you're a little younger than I am, but probably even heard the same. Yeah, even heard the same thing. I was told growing up, if you don't go to college, then really you're nothing. I mean, that was the message. It wasn't sugar-coated. It was, honestly, if you can't make it in college, well, I guess you can fall back on construction or
right.
Whatever. And because of just the same things that you've said, we're just seeing a shift. And it's cool, but it's almost funny to me. We have new industry partners that approach us almost on a daily basis, right? Mm-hmm. And they'll call up, they'll say, hey, I own such and such machining company, and I want to visit with you guys about your students. Okay, so we'll call them up, and this happens way more often than you can even imagine.
Right.
And you literally have to prepare to listen to the spiel that they're going to go through for about 20 minutes. They're going to tell you about how, not everybody has to go to college anymore, and how there's good money to be made in the trades. And you want to stop them and be like, dude, we know that's our whole business.
Right.
But it's like more and more people are just coming to this realization that, holy cow, we've been telling folks that they have to go to college and they don't. If you look at statistics out there, and this is crazy, but it's only about 10 to 20% of the jobs that are available today. If you took 100 jobs, only 1 or 2 of them would actually require a 4-year degree or above. The rest of them, trade school, maybe an associate's degree, industry-based certification, all of those things are filling those roles. Well, if we've got 80% of the kids going to school for 20% of the jobs, logic tells you something bad is going to happen. And that's exactly what's happening, right? We've got people all over the world that are working in a field that their degree has nothing to do with.
Right.
And they've got $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 worth of student loan debt.
It's the debt.
On top of that. Yeah. So now what we're seeing is, okay, maybe an electrical engineer is still going to make more than a plumber.
Right.
In most cases.
Yeah.
But the plumber went into that business with 0 student loans, where the electrical engineer is probably still paying off his $100,000.
Right.
Right. And but I say all that to say it's just amazing to see this word spread like a virus, and people are getting excited about it. Now, the cool thing about that is industries want to be a part.
Yep.
They want to help. And there's money to be had out there. You can write a grant. I know you and I both have written several grants, and there is just tons of money because even the government, believe it or not, is realizing that we really need to spend some money in these areas. So that's why I think CTE is you said it's the place to be. It's not an understatement.
No,
it's an amazing place.
It's where we are gonna continue to grow. And these kids, and we have so many kids out there that they can't afford college even then. But even if they could, if you're gonna go with debt and you want to go into electrical, why do you have to go to college if you want to do something you're passionate about? But we're not saying that you don't have to go to college, or it's not saying that's the only route. College is still great. It's just there's other avenues, and you're saying with business and industry, they're promoting that now. Whenever you apply, it doesn't say you need a bachelor's degree. You need a certification, or you need to have experience, or now at this point. So it's really great, and it's becoming bigger. And I've seen this at in this or state organization level of people just coming to us. How do we get in touch with the kids? How do we get to the kids? And it's through the teachers. And in order to get to the teachers, they start promoting and start sponsoring events and things like that. And it's really great to see. And we just need more. I mean, you can't have too many, right?
I agree. You know, talking about the teachers, we've talked a lot about what we see this podcast transitioning into, where we want to go, who's it for, and really as I've moved into this role, one of the things that has been really cool to see, for one, is how amazing our teachers are. Like when I was in my classroom, of course I was the best teacher. Never.
You're pretty good.
But when I was in my class, like I saw my classroom. And I did my things, right? And I participated in some other things, like I was on the board for TiVo. But for the most part, that was my experience. Mm-hmm. In this role that I'm in now, I get to sit and watch other people teach. I get to sit and watch cool things happening in the welding lab, in the construction lab, and down in health sciences. And I get to be a part of all those. One thing that I know because of that experience has shown me is that there's a lot of cool things out there teachers can do, and you and I get to see those things. But the reality is they're focused on their world because there are so many constraints put on teachers now, Mm-hmm. Not only do you have your classroom, but you got to worry about this kid who has these needs and this kid who needs this differentiation. And then your content just changed. Oh, and by the way, we want you to teach photography this year, right? All those kind of things. And so if we don't provide an avenue to get some of these ideals out there, to make those connections for those teachers, and maybe this podcast will be one of those resources, they don't have the time to go out and find some of these things on their own. Right. And so hopefully we can provide an avenue for that. Hopefully we can also provide some resources for other schools that are out there trying to do what we're doing. And even beyond that is hopefully we can gain some things as well from guest speakers that we bring in, different folks that we get to talk to and see what's happening across not only the state of Texas, but really across the United States, because this is not a Lubbock problem. This is not a Texas problem. This is a United States problem.
It is. And it's something that's going to keep growing unless we do something. And we're making strides. I mean, CTE across the state, I've seen it everywhere, is making huge strides and doing amazing things. Right. And we're going to continue to. And especially here in Lubbock ISD, it just keeps growing and growing. And we see more and more kids. And it's just been... It's a great thing to see and to just watch it grow. But like you said, with teachers, we need the resources. We need to make sure that we're setting teachers up for success, so that way we can grow the students to go into these careers. Mm-hmm. And I know here we're doing a great job of that. I mean, it's been fun to watch over the last several years.
Yeah. Brandon, if you were to just put out a mission or a vision for what you see this podcast accomplishing, what would you say?
Really just get CTE out there, make sure that businesses and businesses know what CTE is and how they can support, but also to grow the educator and give them knowledge of what's out there grant-wise, resources, organizations, people to talk to, partnerships, those types of things, so they know that they exist. Because a lot of teachers don't know they exist.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to teachers all the time, and it's like they're like, "How's your classroom so awesome?" I go, "Because I get grants." Well, where do you find these grants? They don't know where to find them. Right. They need guidance, and I think that this is going to be a great resource for a lot of those teachers. And the vision is really just to grow and to educate CTE in America, America, but Lubbock right now, but America eventually, hopefully, sure. That's kind of that's what I would love to see happen.
Love it. Yeah. And you hit it on the nail on the head, talking about growth of teachers, growth of programs, like you said, not just for us, increasing that student engagement, just giving new and innovative ideas for our teachers, for our districts, whoever's out there. So definitely looking forward to that. Some of the topics that we've talked about kicking around, so if you guys are having any interest in different things, some of the topics that we've talked about kicking around are industry-based certifications. Obviously, that's a big thing now, as you know, with your Texas standards. Now a completer has to, or is transitioning over the next year or so, will have to be not only have the 3 or more classes for 4 or more credits, but they'll also have to have an IBC tied with that in order to get that CC mark point. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that funding piece. And so, right. Those grants that are available out there, and really how to go for them, because, grant writing is not hard.
No.
But there's an art to it.
It is, and you have to know where to go to get the resources. Because a lot of times they ask for how many kids do you have? How many of them are Hispanic? How many of them are female or male? You have to know those things. And over the last 5 years, where do you find that information? You have to know who to talk to and how to get that information. And hopefully we will be able to help guide you. At least, it's a crazy process sometimes, but sometimes it's just as easy as filling out a form.
Yeah, for sure.
And here's $500. Cool.
Right.
You can do a lot of $500.
A couple of other things we'll talk about. Advisory boards. That's one thing that Lubbock ISD has done really well, is connecting with our community partners. And so every content cluster area has its own advisory board. Some of them are very large, and we meet twice a year. And some great things come out of that. So I'm really excited about getting to tell you guys some of the stories of the results of those advisory committee meetings. We just recently started a new field in HVAC, and that was a complete result of advisory, and some of the cool things that they've stepped up and done with that. We've had a community partnership with Habitat for Humanity for 20 plus years.
Yeah, long time.
Just super excited to kind of tell you guys about that program and how it works as well. We work a lot with our industry partners, and that kind of ties right in with those advisory committees and those community partnerships. So that's another thing that we'll talk about. CTSOs, you're a big CTSO guy, so talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, so CTSOs, I'm mostly involved with Skills USA, and CTSO is Career and Technical Student Organization, and they're officially labeled that from the state of Texas as a official CTSO. Other ones are like HOSA, Health Occupation Students of America. There's BPA, FCCLA, FBLA,
DECA.
Yeah, DECA.
FFA.
Oh, yeah, and FFA, the big one.
The big one.
Yeah, FFA. There's a bunch of them out there, and all these are catered to certain areas and for certain reasons. And we'll go through them all, talk about, especially when we get closer to contest season, which is around February. We'll really start talking about CTSOs and, results and, what kids have to do to be, and we may even bring in some officers and, we're not sure. We're going to bring in some guests and stuff. So it's going to be really cool. I work closely with Crystal Latham, who's the Skills USA Texas Executive Director, who actually lives here in town. And she said she'd be more than happy to come on here at some point. So that'd be pretty cool to talk to her about, especially when we get close to like state contest and stuff like that. So we have some really cool things that we can do with CTSOs with kids and whatnot, and just and it gets confusing if you've never done it before. It's hard. Sure. You remember your first year. I mean, my first year too. It was like you just kind of show up and hopefully you know what you're doing. Right, yeah. And so it'd be nice to have some guidance sometimes. But this is a great. I think it's a great avenue to really talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. CTE month. Obviously, we'll kick around some ideas for that. I know sometimes I struggled with what do we do for CTE month? How do we promote our programs? So maybe we can share some good ideas on that. Another thing that we hear almost every advisory meeting that we go through is the employability side, the soft skills side. Nearly every person will tell us, look, teach them the skills you can. We get it, but that's not the important thing. The important thing is, can they show up for work? Do they have a work ethic? Are they willing to put in the time? And they're like, look, we can teach them all the rest of that stuff. And sometimes I wonder, like, well, what are we even doing? But
right.
But that is such a key component. And all of our teachers do it. Some of them do it very intentionally. Some of them do it just kind of as a part of their culture. Mm-hmm. But we'll talk about some just different ways that you can incorporate those into your programs. And then we're going to have a lot of guests as well, different experts in fields, just different teachers, as you said, student officers in different areas. Mm-hmm. I think those will be great. So definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully this is going to be super valuable for you guys out there that are involved in career and technical education, want to know more about it, want to grow your programs. like I say, that's really our goal, is just to help grow, engage, connect, and innovate.
Yeah, and our whole thing is like we're literally just doing this because we figured there's a need, and why not? Yeah, I mean, and it's something we've talked about for a long time, and I'm just excited that we're finally doing it. I mean,
Right.
it's been a long time coming, and I think it's something that's really been needing to get out there. And it's like you'll see podcasts where they'll talk about CTE, but they don't. It's not about CTE, and that's what this whole podcast is going to be about: is CTE and how it can improve, and how can we help you. And it's a really cool. I think it's a really cool opportunity for us and for everybody else.
I think the thing I'm most excited about, and I think it's important to put out there too, is that we're not the experts at all. Just two guys that are willing to put some things out there and hopefully help some folks. But if we ever come across as saying you should do it like us, that's not the case at all. We've been really lucky. We've been really blessed with a lot of things that have happened here in Lubbock ISD. And there's room for growth. There's a lot of areas that we can improve, and I'm looking forward to getting to meet some of the folks that we bring on this podcast and get some new ideas on how we can improve and enhance our own programs as well. Like I said, we're facilitators, guides, if you will, and that's not the experts for sure.
And we'll just share our experiences and stories that we have from things that have happened, and how do we navigate through these things. And in real life stories, it's not scripted or anything. It's what happens. You learn from experience, and sometimes we're going to give you that experience and you have to learn from it. And it's like, because there's some things that I wish I would have done differently when I first started teaching, and wish I would have known a few things. And hopefully we can help you new teachers that are listening to this to be able to get to that point. Cool. But yeah, so we look forward to a long podcast season here. We're hopefully going to do this pretty often, and we'll get them pushed out, and hopefully you get a lot of information from us, and hopefully it helps in any way that we can. So I guess we'll see you next time.
Thank you.